Hello vegan adventurers, welcome to another vlog from Chile. So today we're leaving Puerto Montt and we're flying over to Punta Arenas, which is the southernmost city of Chile. So after a few minutes of flying we already see the higher mountains covered with snow and ice. So this ice is here all year long, so right now it's like a summer here, but the snow just stays here all year long like a glacier. So this region of southern Patagonia is surrounded with high mountains with a snow peak, so it's really hard access here, and that's why it's really scarcely populated, so not many people living here. And then we entered this vast land of ice and snow. It's called the Southern Patagonian Ice Field, and it doesn't belong to Chile or Argentina. It's like a common land and no people live here. It's just ice and also glaciers that are going into the lakes, so it was an amazing view from the plane. So it's really incredible view of these glaciers. I never seen anything view like this from the plane before. And these glaciers and ice fields are actually from Ice Age, but they're slowly like melting away because of climate change, mainly caused by animal agriculture. But there's still a lot to see, but if future generations want to see this as well, then we have to change our eating habits, otherwise this will melt in like 100 years or something. And here we spotted iconic mountain Fitzroy, which is located on the borders between Chile and Argentina, and it's 3,400 meters high, and you go to see it from Argentinian side, from a little town called El Chalten, and we're actually gonna go there in about a month, and I highly recommend to go there. You don't have to pay fees for national park, you don't have to pay fees for camping, and according to reviews it's as good experience as Torres del Paine, if not even more beautiful. Well, on Torres del Paine you have to pay like a lot of money for camping, like up to $100 a night, and plus you have to reserve your place, so it's too much hassle for me, especially during the season. Sometimes you can't even it's fully booked. So this Fitzroy, I highly recommend it, and it's much better than Torres del Paine. So Southern Patagonian Ice Field is actually third largest freshwater reserve in the world after Antarctica and Greenland, I believe. So when you're hiking here, you can actually drink straight from the river, straight from the streams and lakes without filtering it. So it's mainly because there is no large cities here or kind of houses where you can pollute the water. So it's really pristine and remote nature here. is another glacier called Perito Morino, and it's popular because it has easy access to it from Argentinian side, from a town called Calafate, and we're actually gonna go there, and it's quite a good experience. You can see the ice falling down, so I highly recommend it also.
I see right through your selfish ways. I'm too bad, I know how to play.
And here you can see the Argentinian side of Patagonia, which is much drier than Chilean side. They don't have many trees. It's mostly like steppes with only the grasslands, and I don't know why, but they don't receive much rain, even though they have many big freshwater lakes. So here we are already flying over the Antarctic Ocean, close to Punta Arenas, and it looks like we are landing into some holiday destination, but the truth is the ocean is really cold and you can't even swim here much. So here we're already landing, and we see the weather is quite foggy and cloudy, and it's around 20 degrees here, and we thought like we didn't get a good weather, but they said it's one of the best days in a year. That usually is like cloudy here and cold, around 15 degrees in the summer and around 0 in the winter. So we are in Punta Arenas right now, and the weather is changing pretty quickly. At one moment it's like 20 degrees, and then the sun goes beyond the clouds, it gets down to like 15 or something or less. So there should be some penguins, maybe not, we don't know. So we're going by the sea and see how it goes. So after we got accommodation, we went for a little walk to see the ocean. So here we are at the ocean front at the beach, and Punta Arenas, as I said, is the southernmost city in Chile, and it's actually where people go to see Antarctica from. So there are flights from Punta Arenas to Antarctica if you want to go. They're quite expensive though, and also you can go to see penguins on Isla Magdalena from here. So I tried the water and I expected it to be much colder, like ice, but it was actually not as icy as I would think, but considering it's the summer here, it was actually quite cold and not suitable for swimming. So it's really interesting to me how people can live normally like in any city here in such a harsh climate where it's cloudy and cold most of the year. It seems like they're doing pretty good here.
I'm running away from this pain. I'm trying to find a new way where the sun's shining down on my face. I'm running away. You're in a toxic.
So we're reading online that some people saw penguins even here in Punta Arenas. So we thought we saw them here on this pier, but they're just some black birds. So to see the penguins, I think you'll have to walk much further away from the Punta Arenas, or you can just go take a boat to Isla Magdalena. So here we see some youngsters practicing backflips. So it's really good to see young generation doing some outdoor activities, sports, something inspiring other than just drinking alcohol and doing drugs. And here are these birds again that look like penguins, but we know that they are not penguins because penguins cannot fly, and these birds were flying like no tomorrow.
I'm running away from this pain. I'm trying to find a new way where the sun's shining down on my face.
So here I find another opportunity to be adventurous and get out of my comfort zone. So these wooden poles didn't seem quite good, but once I walked over them, they're holding pretty well, and I got closer to the birds. It is common to observe seabirds in the waterfront, especially perched on all piers. Cormorants nest in these structures from October. So there we go, these birds are not penguins, but probably imperial cormorants. So here we saw more cormorants. So the review that we were reading online, the people probably mistaken them for penguins because, as you can see, they also walk the same, but these are cormorants, not penguins. Antarctic explorers in Magallanes. The first scientific expedition to Antarctica, Adrien de Gerlache and the Golden Crew. Adrien de Gerlache de Gomery, 1866-1934, an officer in the Belgian Navy, had the honor of commanding the first scientific expedition to Antarctica, ushering in a new era of polar exploration under the banner of international cooperation and research. In August of 1897, Gerlache left the port of Antwerp aboard of the ship Belgica, some 30 meters in length, with a crew that included a veritable constellation of notable explorers and scientists: George Lecointe from Belgium, Ronald Amundsen from Norway, Frederick Cook from United States, Henryk Arctowski from Poland, Emil Rakovtia from Romania, and Emil Danko from Belgium. On December 1st, 1897, the crew reached the port of Punta Arenas, where they remained for 2 weeks while certain internal problems were resolved and provisions were taken on, including 100 tons of coal. On the 14th of December 1897, the Belgica sailed to Antarctica, where it was trapped in sea ice and could not return. For 15 months, Gerlache and his men made important data collection and scientific observations. They withdrew the west coast of Antarctic Peninsula and discovered a basin on the south side of Antarctic Andes, mapping what is now known as the Strait of Gerlache and the Danko coast, as well as obtaining considerable information about the glaciers and geological formations of the area south of Antarctic Circle, and thus were able to obtain weather observations for an entire year. On the 28th of March 1899, the ship Belgica, these were the first men to spend the winter. Gerlache and his Golden Crew returned to Punta Arenas, bringing to a close this glorious chapter in the history of Antarctica. Punta Arenas has an assured place in the history of Antarctica. It was the point of departure and arrival for the first scientific expeditions that wintered over there. Gerlache 1897-98, and the first to unravel the mystery of Antarctic Peninsula, Cherkot 1908-1910. Punta Arenas saw the first conquerors of South Pole, including Amundsen 1897 and Scott 1904. It was the scene of Shackleton and his men rescued by the Chilean Navy vessel Yelcho 1916 and accommodated Bert Ellsworth and Roney among other expeditions, just as it had whalers and sea lion hunters. Hall chose Punta Arenas for its unequaled location with respect to Antarctica and for its ability to supply everything necessary to succeed in their endeavors. During the first International Polar Year 1882-1883, Punta Arenas received scientific missions from Germany and Brazil to study the transit of Venus and supplied logistical support for the French team conducting research in Orange Bay, at Hostel Island to the south of Beagle Channel. During the Second International Polar Year 1932-1933, the Salesian Observatory in Punta Arenas supplied meteorological and magnetic observations. For the International Geophysical Year 1957 to 1958, Punta Arenas became the center of both Chilean and international scientific activities headed for the Antarctic Peninsula and the South Shetland Islands. So here you can see the size of Antarctica compared to South America. So here we have South Pole, and here is where we are, Punta Arenas and Tierra del Fuego and Cape Horn, the southernmost point of South America. So there is still quite a way to go to Antarctica, but Antarctica itself is very big as well.